Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new, welcome. In today's video, I am showing you how I was able to take these comb coils to these beautiful instant locks using the crochet method. So if you're interested, definitely keep on watching. So as you can see, I am starting with hair. I'm starting with a head full of hair that's fully moisturized and freshly washed. And the first thing that I'm doing is I am sectioning off her hair from ear to ear. Now, as you can see, you might have noticed that she has a little bit of breakage around the nape area. And at the time of doing this, at the time of installing these locks, she was not yet ready to cut the hair. We did eventually end up cutting it later on, but at the time of installing these, she was not ready to have it cut. So in order to remove it from the rest of the work area, what I did was I sectioned her hair from ear to ear, and I went in later on, installed pretty much comb coil flat twist. It's the same method as installing comb coils, except they're like flat twists using the comb coil method. I hope that made sense. So I'm just taking my time and parting her hair. You know me, I'm a stickler for very precise and clean parting. So I'm just making sure that the parting is as clean and neat as possible before I start installing the comb coil flat twist. Okay, and here I am showing you how I go about installing the comb coils. I do apologize, I was out of frame, but pretty much what I did was I sectioned off the hair, applied a mixture of aloe vera gel that I made from the aloe vera plant. So I just blended it and added a little bit of oil to it for a gel-like consistency and to add enough moisture to the hair. I applied that to each section that I parted, and then I used my comb to form a coil down the rectangular length of the sectioned hair. And that's how I created the comb coil flat twist. I intended to show you here. I didn't realize that I was out of focus, but hopefully you get the idea. Okay, so after I've done installing the comb coil flat twist, the next step is of course to get working on the actual comb coils. So what I did was I did part her hair from ear to ear or temple to temple, and then I went in and sectioned her hair. Again, I'm applying some of the aloe vera gel along with some oil just to add enough moisture back to the hair. I was not using any other products to form the coils, so that's why I use the aloe vera gel and olive oil as moisture products, so that I had something to work with and that I was not working on extremely dry hair. Now her hair, she has enough hair, but there's not a lot of density to it, so her hair is also fine. So I wanted to give her at a minimum the size of about locks that were the size of about an inch. And so what I did was I parted the hair, and then I used a handy dandy ruler to measure the width of the lock to make sure it measured about an inch. And then I just went in and used my comb to form the comb coil. So here I am again, just more in frame, trying to show you what I'm doing. I am just sectioning off the hair. Again, precise partings, make sure your partings are very clean. Then you apply your moisturizer to the section here. Make sure the size is accurate. I'm using my ruler a couple of times, and then I go in with my comb and I make sure I start as very close to the scalp as possible because I want to make sure that the coil is as tight as I can possibly get it. And I use that twisting coiling method all the way down the length of that sectioned hair. And as you can see, when I got to a certain point where the hair looked like it was tangled, I just took off the comb, combed out the tangle, applied the comb back to that section, and just continued the coiling method all the way down to the length of the lock or the length of the hair. And that's pretty much how you form a comb coil. Okay, so I did the same thing pretty much for majority of a head. I think I went from ear to ear or temple to temple sections or parts for about 4 rows in total. And then once I got to the crown of her head, I did a middle part from front to back, and then I worked on either side of the middle part just to make sure that I had an equal number of locks on each side and an equal number of rows. I did not use my ruler at that point because after a couple times you get a rough idea of what the size is like, so I pretty much used other locks as my base and my guide to make sure the sizing was correct, and I eyeballed the rest. Also, you will notice that as I'm doing the comb coils here, I'm not doing the coil down the entire length of the section here anymore. I was just doing some of it. And that's because I was like, it really made no sense to really comb coil the entire length of the section here when I had to go back in and crochet it to form the instant lock anyways. So that's why you'll see some of the comb coils here are not fully done. That was the reason behind it. This is how the comb coils look once they're fully installed. And so now moving on to the actual part of this video, installing the instant locks. And to do that, I'm starting with a 3-prong crochet needle in the size 0.5 mm. I use the 3-prong needle to really go in and use that as a base to form the structure and foundation of the lock. I pretty much use the 3-prong needle just to form a base and structure to the lock, to make sure I have a good foundation to work with. Then once I'm fully satisfied that I have a good base to continue working off of, I go in with a 2-prong needle in the same size, 0.5 mm, and then I use that to continue forming the lock to just give it more structure and to make it firmer. Now, if you've seen any of my lock extension related videos, you know the gist, you know the technique, you know how it goes down. So I am using the needle to pretty much go in and out. I am creating friction between the needle and the hairs of that lock. So I am pushing the needle in and out to get the hairs to intertwine into and mesh together, as well as constantly turning the section here that I'm holding between my thumb and my pointy finger. I'm constantly twisting and rotating that hair to make sure that I'm maintaining a cylindrical shape and that the lock doesn't flatten out. So I do apologize for the bad lighting. Again, I was so in focus on installing these locks that I wasn't paying attention to how poor the lighting was, but using my flashlight actually, I'm showing you the difference here between the comb coils and a lock that's actually formed instantly. And you will see the difference. The comb coil has a more softer look to it versus the instant lock, which has a little bit more texture and looks a little bit more firm. And here I'm just showing you the same thing again, just more in frame. I'm just showing you what the whole technique looks like. And here again, just for your viewing pleasure, so that you can see the comparison and the difference between the comb coils and the locks that have been instantly formed. You see there's more of a firm structure to the instant locks versus the comb coils that is still a little bit more limp and soft, and the instant locks have a little bit more firmness. And here's the finished result. As you can see, she now has instant locks. It looks completely different than what the comb coils look like initially. There is firmness to the locks. The length of the locks is firm. It's firm enough to maintain structure, but not too hard where, it still has a softness to the touch. So this is how you achieve DIY instant locks with the crochet method. This is something that you can do if you want to get locks started, but you're on the fence about whether you want to use the comb coil method and you want to embrace the entire journey but don't necessarily want to be concerned about unraveling and don't want to use the lock extension. This is a great alternative. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you have any questions or comments, definitely go ahead and drop them down in the comment section below. If you like this video, definitely go ahead and give it a big thumbs up. I have more videos like this coming up in the pipeline, so if you've not yet subscribed, definitely go ahead and join the rest of the Unapologetics by hitting the subscribe button, and don't forget to hit the post notification as well so you never miss another upload. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you guys next time, but until then, remember to stay blessed and live life unapologetically. Bye guys.